Time to rejoin the conversation. And we are back, and okay, here we go. Let's chop it up. So, there was a time in order to be famous, you had to be elusive. Now with social media, stars must be omnipresent, and we've moved into a place where authenticity is the key. Not only that, but fans need to feel like they're more like your friends. So, how do we feel about the new world that we're finding ourselves in? How do we feel about social media stars, and the way that stars use social media? Actually, let me start with you, my good man.
All right.
So, first of all, how do you feel about social media?
I don't like Facebook. I'm a fan of Instagram and Snapchat.
So, what is it about Facebook that you're not?
I think Facebook's just been around too long. I think it's been around long enough to be manipulated, to be leaned upon a little too much. I think my thing is, I think that every social media platform needs a start and an end date, sort of like MySpace. I think it needs to be fresh, innovative, hip for a certain amount of time. Because like anything, I mean, once something gets old or played out, or now it becomes a detriment to, jobs, relationships. I think that it's gotten so bad. I'm going to bring this all back home. But I think it's gotten so bad that now jobs are more concerned about your Facebook prowess than your skill set, I think. I think before they truly browse at your resume, they've got certain teams in place in certain places to peruse through your Facebook. Okay, what type of guy or gal are we really dealing with? And that's just on the career front. I mean, this whole thing, I've seen Facebook pokes mess up relationships and everything. So I'm a fan of something that's a little bit more controlled, like a Snapchat. It's going to disappear. I mean, you can screenshot it, but you're going to get that notification. Instagram, I mean, you can control who you're following, who you're not. If somebody likes it, it may spread, but Facebook is just, man, it's become an open source for ignorance, for malicious intent. So I like social media, but I don't really like Facebook so much, and those are kind of my reasons. But no, I think social media is needed. I think a lot of people, especially the younger millennials and so on, a lot of ex-gens, and so they're finding out ways to mine Instagram for their business purposes. I mean, if you honestly look at it, you can make a shit ton of money on Instagram if you have detailed plan and you know what you're doing. Like, I mean, the Kardashians, they'll post a pill to make your hair longer, and they'll probably get paid $150,000 for that. So, I mean, there's ways to marketing and so on that can be beneficial. I think that going into social networking, I think you got to know what you want out of it. Is this something, hey, I want to keep up with my buddies because I work all day, so I want to kind of see what's going on and chat with some old friends every now and then. If that's what you're in it for, that's what you're in it for. But it's so many different things all in one that you can get caught up. You see so many women, hey, check the link in my bio if you want to book me for modeling. Like, you're not a model.
Right.
Just like these guys, a lot of guys I grew up with, hey, I got a mixtape coming, link in my bio, I got an album dropping. Well, I just think that if you get mixed up in certain things, then it makes it puts a bad taste in my mouth for social media, because I get to the point where I just want to detach from everything and, be off the grid. But I think that kind of speaks to, when I was younger and coming up. I mean, when MySpace first hit, that was like, well, no, I think it was an AOL Instant Messenger and like Black Planet back in the day.
Oh, Black Planet.
Yeah, and that was something that was like, man, it was a big deal. And I seen that grow to MySpace, and then I seen it grow to a point where you needed to have like a college EDU email in order to even have Facebook. So, I mean, the era that I was truly raised in, I just wasn't really a fan of that. And I'm seeing it go to different levels. So at 31, it's like, okay, I think if you use this for its intended purpose, which is, marketing and staying current and relevant with your product that you're selling, essentially, because everybody's selling something, then it's good. But if you're on there just, stock and prey and wanting to become an artist, and I think that it's more of a detriment to society and yourself if you don't. Because just like anything, I liken it to like a drug or alcohol. You can get drunk off that, man.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Off the attention, off of the, so-and-so's in my DM, now I'm this. And you can take essentially an alter ego from social networking and try to implement that into your everyday life and figure out, oh, well, this is different. And this is a big highlight reel.
Yeah, I mean, that's really all, to me, personal social media is.
Absolutely.
It's just a highlight reel of your life.
That's it.
It's just this cool thing happened to me, or I went to this cool place, or I ate this delicious meal, or I had this tasty drink, and that's all you're showing the world. And I think a lot of people get caught in they feel like they need to make their life as exciting as everybody else's Facebook or Instagram page. And nobody's life is that damn exciting unless you're making $100 million. Nobody's life is that exciting.
Not at all. So yeah, that's why it's just kind of like, I don't know, man. I mean, it's kind of cliche, but when I start to see, older people like 60, 70 on Facebook, and it's like, man, I mean, hey, more power to them. I mean, they need to be connected as well, but it's like, okay, I'm ready for something else. I'm ready for something, the next, best thing, or the next.
I think the biggest problem with Facebook is nobody's come up with a model that's better than Facebook.
Yeah.
So
ultimately,
so everybody's on it. Like, look, once your mama is on there, which you just don't want to be on there like that.
It's just different, man. It's like, and I deleted my Facebook account a long time ago, and I just, I've heard, hey man, you need to get back on. We want to get in touch with you or whatever, and it's just like, I honestly am. I believe in like energies and, like intentions. And if you've just got your full life out there on display, people are putting their kids' first steps on Facebook. Oh, he called me daddy today. I'm like, I don't know if that's a Facebook moment.
Yeah.
But that's just me,
Yeah, I fully agree. I think there's some stuff that is just too personal.
Yeah, it's too personal.
For me.
Right.
All of it, like if there's something really funny or insightful, or like a quote or a video I ran across that I think may be helpful to the world, I'll share it.
Yeah.
But every hour of every day,
it just becomes like, it's so artificial, because if you know, then like, all right, this selfie that this woman took, that's probably the 15th picture, and it's that intention behind that. Like, why do you need me to see this selfie? Is it some sort of validation, some sort of insecurity? And it's, you start looking out to others for healing. That's what I'm seeing. And Drake made a comment, man, on his. You know what? I'm all over the place here, but side B of his new album Scorpion is something that I really wasn't tuned in with it. I'm like, hey, you know what? I don't know if I'm really getting it.
That album grows on you with every play, doesn't it?
It does. And I think that he's at a point where he doesn't really have anything to prove any longer. Now it's like, okay, this is raw, it's uncut, it's organic, it's genuine. And he made a comment like, you know, I know a girl that her dream was just to go to Rome, and she got there and she just took pictures.
All she did was take pictures to show people back home.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, yeah.
And it's like, okay, that wasn't the most catchy party bar or whatever, but it's a reality. Like,
yeah,
that's
well,
real.
and I think just an aside about Drake.
Yeah.
I think the problem that like serious rap fans have with Drake is that that's the type of lyrics that he does.
Mm-hmm.
And like it's this really, it's wrapped up in what's going on in his life.
Yeah.
But it's commentary on how the world is moving.
Yeah.
And he's like, man, like this is some superficial ass shit going on.
It's very superficial, and I think that the more in tune and the more you know, it's like, damn, I'd rather just organically just be at a bar and meet some people and have a good time, have some drinks and live life.
That's how we met.
Yeah, and I just feel like there's a whole generation out there that's being robbed. Because, man, you look at this 18-year-old kid today, they don't really have, I'm pretty sure they're not writing any letters to each other. I'm pretty sure they're meeting a young girl at her locker after fourth period or whatever and butterflies in his stomach about talking to a lady at the skating rink. That's not happening.
No.
And I think that that's directly affecting communication on jobs, just human contact in general. I think that it's being taken away and it's going all virtual. And it's like, man, that's just, and everything is just so, it's just so fake, man. And I think that that's why if you use social media for its intended purpose, like, hey, like, catch up with some old friends, see how so-and-so are doing. Hey, if I see a dope picture, I'm doing something that's nice, hey, check this out, I'm here. Boom. But when it comes to, I've got daddy issues, so I need you to tell me I'm beautiful on a selfie, or my album's coming out, but it's genuinely trash. And
Genuinely trash.
yeah, and I just need your validation to go listen to it. So I'm thinking that it's like, man, that's just like, I just feel like it's robbing people of their actual lives, man.
Yeah.
And to hear like a rapper that's at the peak, and I mean, hell, he's got what, 8 songs on the Billboard Top 100 right now?
I think more than that, but let's just go at 8.
Yeah, and it's like he's not selling dope, he's not killing anybody, he's saying shit like, well, I know a girl whose dream was to go to Rome and she just took pictures to impress everybody. Or I know a woman that's happily married until she puts down her phone. That's real life stuff, man.
Yeah.
And it's just, and I feel like I'm kind of dating I'm only 31 years old. I've still got Instagram, I've got Snapchat, my wife's on Facebook, but I'm seeing it now like, wow, shit, man. Like when my son took his first steps, I wasn't running for my phone and wanting to put it on social media.
You know, the great thing is, I remember from back in the day was just, you wanted to take pictures to preserve the moment.
Yeah.
But do I care that, like, a friend from high school that I really don't talk to, I only interact with you. In fact, I don't actually interact with you. I just have friended you on Facebook.
Yeah.
Do I care about your child's birthday party? Like, I mean, I don't. And that is no disrespect to anybody.
Yeah.
But, I just, people needing to Facebook every moment is just strange to me. It really is.
Man. And it's just like it's just crazy, you know. I mean, all angles of it. I mean, the police are utilizing Facebook to solve crimes, and husbands and wives.
And the police are doing the freaking challenges. They're in the car singing and
Yeah.
shit. I'm like, dude, go solve a crime. What's wrong with y'all?
And it's like, and you know, these things have probably been going on before Facebook. It's just we hadn't had that direct line of sight to it. But it's like, damn, and some of the shit I see on social media and a daily, it's like, damn, like I just can't get with it all, man. That's just me. But, you know, to those out there who are utilizing and they're making money, they're happy, it's cool. But, I mean, if you are allowing, you know, the likes and the comments to, you know, ruin your day or certain things like that, I think that, man, you're just doing yourself a huge disservice. Because, I mean, it's just more to life, man.
Yeah.
You know, it really is.
What do you think about, just before we get into the other 2 or 3 deeper questions, what do you think about social media in general, Ben?
I pretty much agree with almost everything Jordan said. I mean, the cycle of constant validation. I mean, there are times that I know that I'm seeing people post stuff about how great their lives are going and how happy they are, but I'm just thinking, if you're posting this much, like, do you ever take time to just sit back and enjoy yourself?
And just actually enjoy the moment you're in, right?
Or do you have to show everybody? You have to show everybody all the time.
Yeah, like I tend to forget. I tend to forget to post stuff.
I mean, I just, it's not on my mind.
And I have a show to promote, and you know, but I tend to forget to post pictures of every friggin' thing. I just forget, and like I said, damn, I should have took a picture. I should have, but really, did I need to? No.
Yeah, and I mean, also there's the even darker question about how people use social media to get their news. I mean, come on.
Yeah, that bothers me altogether.
Yeah.
Like if Facebook is your CNN, you got a problem.
Yeah.
You're woefully misinformed on 1,000 levels.
Well, they like to be told what they like to hear, and that's what Facebook is all about. It's an engineered platform designed to give you validation.
Yeah.
And so if if it's working as intended, you're going to get it.
Yeah, true.
And so you just have done, you just lapped up the easiest way, you know, the most engineered way to get that, to make sure you stay in your bubble. And that's what kind of goes on there. A lot of people don't use it for the purpose of seeking out new opinions and new experiences. It's all about validating, keeping you comfortable with what you already know.
Absolutely.
Specifically Facebook. I won't say that about, I mean, even though Instagram is owned by Facebook.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's not
the
really
way their
the same.
algorithm is set up is very different.
It's very
it's just different.
But then when it comes to how we view celebrities via social media, I would say that for a healthy human being, we're not sitting here saying, "Oh, look what the celebrity's doing. I feel like we're connected." We're friends.
Right.
But I think a lot of this is engineered to make people feel that way.
Yeah.
So, and of course, people want to feel that way. Again, more validation is the highest selling point here.
Yeah, you want to feel like, you know, what's always interesting to me is, especially with Twitter. A lot of people love Twitter, but what I think the thing that bothers me with Twitter is, so you feel as if you can say something to Kim Kardashian and she will answer you.
Right.
In which case, if you had something decent to say, you might get an answer. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't suddenly make you and Kim Kardashian friends.
Yeah, you're not pals.
You know, you're not invited over to the dinner parties. You're just not. You know, and but like you say, that's I think what bothers me, if anything, is, you know, like you say, the need for validation that I think a lot of people feel. Now, I will say this. So we were kind of talking about how in music, you know, a lot of people are really upset at how the music industry is going, and that, you know, there's a lot of garbage music out there, and I was saying that unfortunately, we're getting a lot of what we asked for. Which leads me to, I'm actually glad that it's this particular panel today. Maybe one other member would have been cool to have at the table, but it got me to thinking about, you know, our political world. Mm-hmm. And, you know, so many people are upset that, you know, our politics have gone the way they've gone. And we have the president in office that we have. But did we get what we asked for? You know?
Yeah.
You know, and I think, and that's what scares me, and also lets me know that the platforms are working exactly the way they're supposed to work. Mm-hmm. You know, so you realize that there's a ton of this nation that believes in conspiracy theories.
Yes.
So you run on a platform that gives voice to all of these conspiracy theories.
We elected the man who popularized the birther theory.
Exactly.
I mean...
And to tell you the truth, I'm almost at a point where I believe that was a test.
Yeah.
How much traction can I actually get with this? Damn, I can get a lot of traction with this. Which plays to the fact that there's a lot of people out there who believe in these conspiracy theories. So what kind of conspiracy theories are out there? Then you start going down the rabbit hole and you find info news and info wars and, you know, all these other places. And so you realize that there's a real vibrant underbelly of people who, and not a small number of people who believe that some of these conspiracy theories are real about the entertainment industry, about our government, about, you know, all these different things. And you run on a platform that says, you know what, all those conspiracy theories, they're right. The media is lying to you.
Yeah.
You know, the government doesn't have your best interests at heart. You know, any conspiracy theory you can run down a list, to the point where now you elect Chris Brown. It doesn't matter what he's done, because you know what he's done. You've seen it with your own eyeballs. But he makes you feel good in a way you want to feel good.
Yeah.
And you vote for him anyway. I'm like, that's what scares me about social media.
Yeah.
It's because if you go back to the 70s, 80s, even in the 90s, when news was news, it had to be fact-based. You had to go through the process of checking these sources, feeling that this story was as credible as it could be before you put it out.
Right.
Now, with a social media-based culture, and a blogging culture, and going from hard news to kind of a pundit format where it's just everybody's opinions on the news. Now, we're at a place where, facts are kind of optional. Yeah. Because you can engineer your social media platform to see what you want to see, hear what you want to hear, and corroborate what you want to corroborate. Mm-hmm. And you wind up with a president that admittedly says, hey, girls want to be close to a rich guy so bad they'll let you grab him in the pussy. Mm-hmm. And you heard him say it. But that's okay.
Yep.
like that's what scares me about social media.
Well, they were told that essentially, yeah, we don't like that, but Camp Hillary is a crime family.
Exactly.
And they've killed people.
My point exactly.
I'll ask that off record.
No, go ahead.
Is that true about? I've heard that about Hillary Clinton. Like,
I sincerely put it like this. I sincerely doubt it. Mm-hmm. But that back to my point. They've created so much doubt that does it matter if it's true? Because at the end of the day, I can say this stuff, and there's going to be enough people that are going to give it credence that it'll stand even if it has absolutely no legs.
If you ever... If you ever get time, just watch some Sean Hannity and just listen to what comes out of his mouth.
Oh, man. It's amazing.
Amazing.
Just the bile that comes out of this dude's mouth. And
he's the most popular talking pundit on Fox News. And it is harrowing.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Nothing has to be true. They want to believe that this is true. And Hannity's saying, and this is the other thing, they don't pose a question. They say it as fact. They're like, because Hillary and Bill, they've killed people and buried bodies. And they just say it like that.
On the news. I just put air quotes up, by the way.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, because a while back, they rebranded Fox and Friends and Fox News and all that is an opinion-oriented entertainment show. So as they have done that and removed themselves from any legal obligation to tell the truth, they can lie all day and every day.
But people don't know they're not the news. So they look like a news show, they act like a news show, but they don't actually have any legal obligation to tell the news. What they do is give their opinions on the news. And to me, what's happened with social media, leaving the internet and coming to the real world, is that you don't have to go to Facebook to have whatever your theory is validated or whatever your opinion is validated. There was a point in this, in this country where if you did everything right and you became rich, people were like, damn, they must have did something right. Now, as an example, now the Kardashians are some of the most hated people in America, when all they did was found a way to sell now here's the crazy thing, to sell their authenticity and get rich. They did exactly what the system asked of them. Be you, figure out how to get rich. They did that. And now they're some of the most, it's just, you can barely mention the Kardashians to a lot of people without them going on a half-hour tirade about how horrible and talentless. And
I'm not upset with the Kardashians at all.
I have no qualms. They did what they were supposed to do.
I think it's a little bit unfortunate that...
I think you told me, Rio, that Ryan Seacrest really made them.
Yeah, he's a producer of of Keeping Up, and all of their subsequent shows. He was the original producer, and now he may still be one of the producers, but I think they've taken over being the producers of their own content now. But I mean, they've been on the air. Keeping Up has been on the air for 12 years or so. Yeah, so at a certain point, I was talking to somebody and they were saying, well, if it wasn't for the sex tape, she wouldn't be shit. Okay, let's think about it like this: how many people have made sex tapes? How many of them have become Kim Kardashian famous for making one?
None.
So, that says to me, it has very little to do with the sex tape.
I think that it's part of it because, I don't know, for whatever reason, this was the one that everybody was like, they just went wild over it on the internet for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Now, I don't even have a moral problem with somebody leaking a sex tape. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Because...
And the thing of it
comes down to it, like, everybody went and watched it, right?
Oh, and here's the thing. I don't think she or her family was the ones to leak it.
No.
I just think she did what she was supposed to do, and she took proper advantage of the situation.
Yep.
So I was looking at this documentary, and I cannot remember the name of it right now, but it was talking about this case that was done with Hulk Hogan
Gawker
versus Gawker.
Mm-hmm.
And they were saying, really, this was the almost test case to see if they could find a way to suppress media in this country, because Hulk Hogan had a sex tape.
Right.
And it happened to be, now, him and his best friend had some weird arrangement where, he liked to see his wife get hit by, other men. And
I hate to sidebar you there, but I read a book called Pimp, The Story of My Life, Iceberg Slim.
Iceberg Slim.
And that came to mind that you said that. Ice was talking about that in the book, like that was something that, like, he started to make money on because people wanted to see that. And it was just weird, man. Well, that book was definitely like eye-opening and thought-provoking, to say the least. I read it like when I was 21 years old and in college, and I think that book should be part of core curriculum for college students in America. Honestly,
I mean,
man.
well, look,
But yeah, that's just my little 2 cents.
Look, I was just looking at not too long ago the comedy specials Dave Chappelle did on Netflix, and So he did 2 different specials, and one of the specials was split into 2 parts: equanimity and the bird revelation.
Yeah.
So at the end of the bird revelation, he's trying to explain the story of what happened to him in Hollywood when, all of this stuff went down with him walking away from the 50 million. And he's like, I want to tell this story really bad, but I can't really talk about it like that. He says, but you know what? I'll do this. This is what happened to me. And he's telling a story from Iceberg Slim's book, Pimp.
Yeah. And
the story goes, I'll try to go through it as quickly as possible. The story goes like this. So in the 40s, when this book was written, it was so revolutionary because nobody knew anything about the world of a pimp before then. And so at the beginning of the book, there's a literal glossary of pimp terms so that you could follow the book. And, so he's, asking people, in the audience, so do you know what the phrase mileage on a hoe means? And, people were kind of looking a little confused. And he says, well, if you don't know what mileage on a hoe means is, he says, and this is such a cold-blooded, insidious thing, he says, but any good pimp knows that they can look at a woman that they have never turned out before and look at her and say, she's got 500 fucks in her before she goes crazy. Mm-hmm. So his bottom bitch, which out there in podcast land, is that's the one who's making you your most money, and she often is the one who helps you keep the other hoes in line. So, if 500 fucks is her mileage, she's at like 498. She's ready to crack. She's starting to say really crazy stuff, and and he was making a joke that I could have been in the circus. And he's like, circus, bitch, what? and so he's like, okay, I know. And so finally he's like, look, we gonna have to part ways. You know what? Fuck you, because I don't want to be with you anyway. And he's like, okay, look. Tell you what, I got one more trick for you. Go across the street to the hotel, go to this room. There's a dude in there. I want you to take some of this, slip it in his drink. When he falls asleep, he's got a briefcase. I want you to grab a briefcase. I want you to bring it to me. But she's gone a really long time. And finally she shows back up and she's freaked out and she doesn't have a briefcase. And he goes, like, bitch, what's wrong? I don't know, something's wrong, daddy. I don't know, that, I did what you said. I did exactly what you said. But that man, he don't look right. And he was like, well, where's the briefcase? I didn't get the briefcase. Fuck you mean, bitch? And so finally he goes, okay, let's go over there. Let's investigate. They get over there. Dude's laid out on the bed. And he's like, damn, bitch, yeah, he don't look right. All right, what did you do? So I did what you said. I put all the stuff in his drink. He said, wait, you put it all in his drink? He said, oh, wait, damn, bitch. So he calls somebody, and she hears him murmuring on the phone. Somebody shows up, calls the doctor in the white coat, comes over, look, and he's like, yeah, this man is dead. And he goes, and she goes, oh, no, daddy, we killed somebody. He said, hold up, bitch. We didn't kill nobody. You killed somebody. He's like, hold up. And he said, what we gonna do? Well, if you calm down, I'm gonna fix this situation for you. Just calm down. He makes another phone call. He's on the phone. She hears her murmuring on the phone. Some motherfuckers show up a little while later in a van with and they come up, and it's like coveralls and stuff, and they come up with a carpet under their arms, and they take the guy, and they roll him up in the carpet, they carry him out, and she goes, okay, this is what we're gonna do. We gotta keep this secret, can't tell nobody. But I'm gonna need you to stick with me for a little while just to make sure this thing blows over. Okay, Daddy. Okay. Whatever you need. Because she's so freaked out that she thinks she killed somebody. What turns out is she winds up tricking for him at least another 6 or 7 months. But here's the thing. The doctor really wasn't a doctor. I was a butcher, he knows. Just happened to have a white coat. The movers with the carpet were really movers because Iceberg had just got himself a new apartment. And the man, he really wasn't dead in the first place. He was playing dead. And the money was Slim's money in the first place. From all the women that he had tricked out over the years. But he knew he had to do something to keep her working because she was his bottom and she was important to his organization at the time. And he had to get and groom another girl. He couldn't afford
before he could let her go.
He couldn't afford to lose her. He says, and without saying anything else, that's what happened to me. And I was just like, but you feel like how insidious and cold that shit is. Like it's
diabolical.
But that's super diabolical. But I think that in an odd way that gets me back to my point about being careful what you ask for. I think that with, social media and the way that our world is beginning to work, we ask for a lot of this. We just don't like it now that we got it. Mm-hmm. But, the powers that be, they're not just going to let us go. They go trick us into another 6 or 7 months mm-hmm. because they can't afford to disrupt their system. And hey man, that shit is scary. Hey, but with that, we'll be right back. Hey, you having a good time? Let me introduce you to a couple of my media brothers. First, www.americathemixtape.com, a cipher on American politics, society, and culture. And where'd I get that mixtape? Of course, www.cornerbodega.us, purveyors of urban culture. Come on, let's get back to the party. And we are back, and before we get out of here, let's talk about today's sugar, honey, iced tea. And for those that don't know, these are things that I or a member of the group have found that are really cool, a.k.a. the shit. And today's sugar, honey, iced tea is authenticity. In order to define authenticity, I thought I'd start by defining authentic. It's not false or copied, genuine or real. Having an origin supported by unquestionable evidence, authenticated or verified. Third definition is representing one's true nature or beliefs, true to oneself or to the person identified. So I'm not sure. Sometimes what people are more scared of with today's social media and even further out the way things are in today's media landscape in general. The fact that people aren't being authentic or the fact that they are. The antics we see online, coupled with the state of America's politics and discourse. See, I'm definitely more afraid of people who are being their true selves. That would mean that people aren't necessarily getting nicer or kinder or more tolerant, and that bothers me. we seem to live in a country that is able to wrap its head around the fact that a woman can be trapped in a man's body, but not that police shoot unarmed black people for no reason. A country that celebrates people that succeed but tears down the Kardashians for being successful. See, never underestimate authenticity, but never forget that you have to let people be authentic, but you just might not like what you get. Mm-hmm. And with that, I'm going to end this podcast in the way I end all podcasts, and that is with the toast that started it all for me, and that is to good times with good people.